Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into shamanism.
Shamanism.
A practice that has been around for as long as humans, but still has a big impact on our lives now.
Absolutely.
And you've sent us some really cool sources this time around.
Yeah.
We've got scholarly stuff from Mircea Eliade.
Classics.
Then some really energetic YouTube videos from coaches like Guido Fox.
Yeah, those are fun.
And even a little bit from good old Wikipedia.
Gotta love Wikipedia.
So we've got kind of a blend of academic and experiential.
A good mix.
So we're not just going to define shamanism.
Right.
We're going to go deeper.
Yeah.
Uncover techniques and beliefs.
Exactly.
And look at how it all applies to you today.
I'm excited.
So are you ready to discover what shamanism really is?
I am definitely ready. Let's get into it.
Okay, so to start off,
Yeah.
it's more than just herbal remedies or chanting, right?
Right.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Eliade, that scholar we were talking about, he calls shamanism a technique of ecstasy.
Yeah, he does.
What does that even mean?
It's a powerful phrase. It gets right to the core of what shamanism is.
Okay.
It's about changing your state of consciousness.
Okay.
Shamans aren't just priests or herbalists or something.
Right.
They can enter trances.
Oh, wow.
And they go to the spirit world.
Okay.
And then they can bring back knowledge
Mhm.
or healing for their people.
So like spiritual adventurers
Exactly.
venturing into these unseen realms.
Yeah, they're like a bridge
Okay.
between the world we can see and the world beyond our senses.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
So they use all these different methods to get to those places.
Yeah, and it's different everywhere you go.
Oh, right. Speaking of different methods,
Yeah.
we have this one source, a guy named Guido Fox.
Oh, yeah. Guido Fox.
He calls himself like a high-end spiritual life coach or something.
He's very enthusiastic.
He is.
Very high energy.
Yeah, and he's got, a really unique take on shamanism.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about chakras
Lots of chocolate.
and inner body experiences and stuff.
I mean, it's his lived experience, right?
Yeah, it is.
So it's a different perspective than what you get from, academia.
It's like reading a detailed map
Mm.
versus hearing someone describe an incredible journey.
Yeah, exactly. And both are valuable.
Exactly.
You get something different from each one.
Right. And Guido Fox, he makes this bold statement
Oh, yeah. What's that?
that only very, very intelligent people are drawn to spirituality.
Interesting.
Do you think there's a connection
I don't know.
between intelligence and searching for a deeper meaning?
It's a thought-provoking statement.
It is.
Maybe people with a certain level of cognitive ability
Okay.
are more likely to question things,
Yeah.
to look for answers beyond just what's right in front of them.
Right.
Or maybe it's not about raw intelligence, but a certain type of curiosity,
Okay.
a real thirst to understand the why of existence.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So different paths for different minds, but all kind of going to the same place.
In a way.
So how does someone actually become a shaman in the first place?
Right.
Is it something you're just born into?
It's a question people have been asking forever.
Yeah.
There seems to be two main paths.
Okay.
The first is inheritance.
Okay.
So the role of the shaman gets passed down through family lines.
Oh, wow.
Like you inherit not just money or possessions,
Mm-hmm.
but this spiritual legacy.
Wow.
All this knowledge from generations past.
That's incredible.
And that was very common in ancient cultures.
So like a family trade,
Yeah,
but for connecting with the spirit world.
exactly.
Wow. What about the second path?
The second path is often called the shamanic call.
Okay.
It's like this big experience
Mm-hmm.
that wakes up your spiritual sensitivity.
Okay.
This call can show up in different ways,
Okay.
like a serious illness
Uh-huh.
or a near-death experience,
Oh, wow.
or even just a time of intense psychological turmoil.
Oh, wow.
Think of these challenges as initiations,
Okay.
like cracks in reality, that let you see into the spiritual realm.
So a shamanic call,
Yeah,
it can be really difficult,
it can be.
but then it leads you to a deeper connection with that unseen world.
Exactly. It's like it makes you more receptive to spiritual forces,
Okay.
and it puts you on a whole different path.
And Guido Fox calls it a forced re-entry into the body.
Yes, he does.
It's like the sudden awareness of how everything's connected.
Yeah, like you suddenly see the web
Yeah.
that connects everything.
It's like a superhero origin story.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of.
They get their powers from some traumatic event.
Yeah, but instead of super strength,
Right.
they can talk to spirits.
Yeah. Guido Fox also says that shamans need to heal themselves
Mm-hmm.
before they can heal others.
Yeah, that's an important part.
And that idea is in a lot of modern therapies now.
Right.
It shows how important self-awareness is for
Yeah.
anyone who wants to help others heal.
Whether they're a shaman or a therapist.
Or even just a friend giving you support.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. So you've had this call.
Yeah.
You've done some self-healing.
Right.
But how do you actually become a shaman?
Right.
It can't be as simple as just deciding one day.
Uh-huh. No, definitely not.
You want to be one.
Right. Think of it like a spiritual apprenticeship.
Okay.
There's almost always a period of intense training,
Okay.
usually led by elders who have the experience.
Huh?
It might involve learning rituals and techniques.
Yeah.
Or going through trials to test your strength,
Wow.
your spiritual strength.
Okay.
Maybe even going to other realms
Okay.
to connect with spirit guides.
So that sounds incredibly demanding.
Oh, it definitely is.
And then once they've gone through all of that,
Yeah,
what are the actual techniques
right.
that shamans use to get into those altered states
Yeah,
and connect with the spirit world?
right.
That's where things get really mystical, right?
It is mystical, but it's also surprisingly practical.
Okay.
The techniques are as diverse as the cultures they come from,
Mhm.
but there are some common threads
Okay.
that might surprise you.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about drumming.
Okay. Drumming.
It's not just a beat.
Right.
It can really change your consciousness.
Okay.
Lots of shamanic traditions use drums to enter trances and connect with spirits,
Wow.
even journey to other realms.
We've all felt that power from a good beat.
Yeah.
But to think of it as a gateway to the spirit world,
Yeah, it's powerful.
that's wild.
And it's not just in ancient cultures either.
Right.
Think about how we use drumming today. In music therapy, stress reduction, even spiritual gatherings.
Yeah.
We're rediscovering that ancient wisdom
Right.
about sound and how it affects us.
That's a good point.
And it's not just drumming.
Right.
There's also chanting, singing,
Mm-hmm.
even psychoactive plants in some cultures.
Right.
The methods change, but the principle's the same.
Okay.
Create a bridge to the spirit realm.
Okay.
Chanting and singing use vibration and intention to change your state of being.
So Guido Fox talks about drumming opening up those inner body chakras.
Right.
What do you think about that?
It's a different way of looking at it.
Okay.
A more energetic interpretation.
Right.
But it's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
Using sound to get past your rational mind
Okay.
and access those deeper levels of awareness.
Yeah.
Shamanism isn't just about thinking about it.
Right.
It's about experiencing it, feeling it.
Feeling those connections within yourself.
Exactly.
And Guido Fox also mentions that people go to him for help
Oh, yeah.
because they've been working with psychologists
Right.
who aren't able to heal themselves.
Yeah, he talks about that.
And because of that,
Yeah.
they can't really help others either.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, it raises a really important point
Yeah.
about the role of a healer.
Right.
In many shamanic traditions, the shaman's own healing journey is super important.
Okay.
It's essential to their ability to help others. They need to embody wholeness, integrating their light and their shadow
Okay.
before they can guide others.
So it's not enough to just have the knowledge
Not really.
or the techniques.
It goes deeper than that.
It's about the healer's inner state.
Yeah, it has to come from within.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Now, we can't talk about shamanism without talking about using psychoactive plants.
Right.
It's controversial for sure.
It is.
How widespread is it? And what's the purpose of using them?
Well, it's important to be sensitive
Yeah.
and respect all the different cultures involved.
Right.
Plant medicines are a big part of many indigenous traditions, but the context matters a lot.
Yeah.
It's not about using them recreationally.
Right.
It's ceremonial,
Okay.
and it's guided by elders
Mm-hmm.
who understand those plants and their effects.
So it's a sacred practice,
Yeah,
not something to mess around with.
definitely not.
So casual experimentation is a no-go.
Absolutely.
It's serious business.
Oh, yeah, you got to treat it with respect.
So careful consideration and respect for the cultural context.
Yeah.
Those are key.
Those are key.
So shamanism isn't one big thing.
Not at all.
It's different all over the world, right?
Yeah, it takes different forms in different places.
Absolutely. Eliade, he argued for shamanism's universality,
Right.
but he also acknowledged that it varies across cultures.
There's all this variety.
It's fascinating how people all over the world,
Throughout history, too.
yeah,
And in different places.
have been trying to answer the same spiritual questions,
Yeah.
but using different approaches.
It's like a kaleidoscope.
I like that.
Same basic elements
Hmm.
arranged in all these unique patterns.
So Siberian shamanism is like the classic example,
Yeah.
with its deep connection to nature and animal spirits.
Can you picture it?
Yeah.
A shaman dressed in animal skins,
Okay.
drumming and chanting in a dimly lit yurt.
Yeah.
You can smell the burning herbs, and the wind is whistling through the trees.
Wow.
They go into a trance.
Mm-hmm.
Their consciousness merges with the spirits of the forest.
Oh, wow.
They're searching for guidance, healing, and wisdom
Yeah.
for their people.
So the shaman is like a mediator
Exactly.
between us and the natural world.
The bridge between worlds.
It's a really powerful image.
It is.
And we also have sources mentioning Native American and African shamanism, too.
Yeah, there's so much diversity.
Are there any specific practices or beliefs from those traditions that stand out?
Well, in Native American shamanism,
Mm-hmm.
the vision quest is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's a solitary journey into nature.
Okay.
Often with fasting and prayer,
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for direct contact with the spirit world.
So it's like a spiritual pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Venturing into the wilderness to find answers.
Exactly.
What about African traditions?
In Africa, ancestor veneration is often central.
Okay.
The shaman acts as a go-between between the living and the spirits of those who've passed on.
Wow.
They seek wisdom, blessings, and guidance
Mm-hmm.
from the ancestors for their community.
So they're keeping that connection to the lineage alive.
Yeah, they honor those who came before
Right.
and ask for their continued support.
That's really beautiful.
It is.
Now, I'm curious about the overlap between shamanism and magic.
Oh, yeah.
Are they the same thing?
That's where things get blurry.
Yeah.
Lots of shamanic practices overlap with what we might call magic.
Uh-huh.
Fire eating, walking over coals, even reports of psychic surgery.
Wait, psychic surgery?
Yeah.
That's where things get really mind-bending.
Uh-huh.
Is that even real? Or is
Well,
it just trickery?
That's a question that's caused a lot of debate.
Yeah.
Some sources say it's real, others say it's sleight of hand.
Yeah.
But whether it's real or not,
Right.
it shows the power of belief
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship between the mind and body,
Right.
even if it's staged.
Yeah.
The fact that people believe it shows
Yeah.
how much we want miraculous healing.
It's like those classic magic tricks, the Indian rope trick,
Right.
levitation.
Well, we find them in ancient texts
Yeah.
and modern performances.
So are they just entertainment?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Or do they show how fascinated we are with transcendence?
Yeah.
That's the fun part of exploring these topics.
Yeah.
We can appreciate the skill and the artistry
Right.
and also think about what they mean
Mm-hmm.
psychologically and culturally.
Yeah.
Maybe these illusions,
Mm-hmm.
whether ancient or modern,
Yeah.
reflect our desire to go beyond the ordinary,
Mm-hmm.
to see what seems impossible.
It makes you wonder if every shaman is a little bit of a magician and vice versa.
Maybe they are.
They both work with transformation,
Yeah,
shifting perception,
Hmm.
challenging what we think is possible.
exactly.
So shamanism isn't just about rituals in the past.
Right.
It's connected to things we experience today,
Yeah,
things we still struggle with.
absolutely.
And that brings us to the question of shamanism's relevance in the modern world.
Yeah. Why are we still talking about it?
Thousands of years later.
What can we learn from it?
That's a great question,
It is.
and one we'll explore further in just a bit.
I'm excited too.
Stay with us. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on quite a journey so far,
We have.
exploring this world of shamanism.
It's fascinating.
It touches on healing and psychology,
Mhm.
social structures, even entertainment, as we
Yeah.
saw.
It's really multifaceted.
This tradition that's as old as humanity itself.
As old as time.
And yet we see traces of it in our world today,
It's still relevant.
in all these surprising ways.
Yeah, for sure.
So we started by defining shamanism,
Right. Laying that foundation.
talking about its core principles.
The essentials.
We looked at different techniques
All the different ways of doing things.
and how it shows up in different cultures.
Yeah, because it's not a monolith.
Right.
There's so much variation.
And we even talked about those blurry lines between shamanism.
Right. Where does shamanism end and magic begin?
Yeah. Is it all just magic?
It's a good question.
Like psychic surgery?
Yeah, that one's a real head scratcher.
It is.
Is it real or is it a trick?
And this human fascination with transcendence?
We want to go beyond.
Yeah, we want to see the impossible.
We want to push those boundaries.
So now, as we're kind of nearing the end of our deep dive here,
Yep.
let's shift our focus
Okay.
to what we can actually learn from shamanism.
What are the takeaways?
Right, because even if we're not planning to, put on the ceremonial garb
Right.
and journey to the spirit world,
Uh-huh.
what can we take away from this?
What can we apply to our own lives?
Yeah, are there insights that we can glean from this ancient practice?
Absolutely.
It's not just about the rituals or the mystical experiences.
It goes deeper.
It's about a way of looking at the world
a way of being.
And being in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a worldview.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways from shamanism is that it challenges how we think about reality.
It shakes things up.
Yeah, it reminds us that there's more to the world than what we can just see and touch.
There's more than meets the eye.
Right, and Guido Fawkes talks about opening up those inner body chakras.
He does.
To experience this deeper reality.
Right.
I'm not sure about the whole chakra thing,
Uh-huh.
but I like the idea of expanding our awareness beyond just the material world.
Yeah, looking beyond the surface.
Right.
The shamanic worldview embraces this idea
Of
interconnectedness.
Okay.
That everything's connected.
Uh-huh.
These unseen forces that shape everything.
Yeah.
It makes you think that consciousness might not just be in the brain.
Right.
That we're all part of this bigger web of life.
Not just isolated individuals.
Exactly. We're all connected.
So it's a shift from me to we.
Yeah.
From separation to connection.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And that leads us to another big takeaway.
What's that?
The power of altered states of consciousness.
Yeah, we've talked about that a bit.
We have mentioned meditation.
Mindfulness.
Our healing.
All these things we do today.
Yeah, all these modern echoes of ancient shamanic techniques.
And it's like we're rediscovering those old ways.
And realizing that they're not just,
Woo-woo stuff.
yeah, woo-woo fads.
But they're actually helpful tools
Yeah.
for well-being and exploring yourself.
Shamans knew that by changing your state of being, bypassing the rational mind,
Yeah, quieting that inner chatter.
you can access deeper levels of healing,
Of creativity.
of insight,
Yeah, they used all sorts of techniques.
Really?
Drumming, chanting.
to get into those trance states.
Yeah, to connect with the spirit world.
And today we might use meditation,
Yoga.
breath work,
Yeah, we're tapping into the same human capacity.
for expanded awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe those shamans were onto something
Huh. Maybe they were.
with their drumming circles and chanting ceremonies.
They understood that there are different ways of knowing things.
Not just through intellect.
Right. Experience and intuition are just as important.
Feeling our way into truth.
Yeah, not just thinking about it.
And that brings us to another insight from shamanism.
What's that?
The importance of connecting with nature.
Yes.
Shamans see nature as a source of wisdom,
Of power.
of healing.
They're not separate from nature.
A part of it.
Exactly.
And in our world today,
Yeah.
where technology is everywhere,
And we live in these concrete jungles.
that message is so important.
We've lost touch with the natural world,
Yeah.
with the rhythms of the earth.
The wisdom of our ancestors.
Shamanism reminds us to get back to that.
To honor the earth,
Yeah.
all its inhabitants,
To find that balance and harmony.
within ourselves and with the world around us.
It's a beautiful concept.
It is.
Recognizing that we're not just consumers.
Yeah.
We're active participants in this living ecosystem.
That awareness can really change things.
It can't.
Our choices, our actions, our relationship with the planet.
Our whole way of being.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the final takeaway for our listeners?
That's a good question.
Should we all be going on ayahuasca retreats?
Not necessarily.
And signing up for spirit animal workshops?
It's really up to you.
Yeah.
But the key is to approach shamanism with respect, with discernment, and with an open mind.
Right? It's not about appropriating traditions
Right.
or looking for quick fixes.
It's about exploring
Yeah.
the depths of human consciousness
Connecting with nature's wisdom.
and honoring those ancient traditions.
The traditions that have carried these insights for so long.
Exactly.
We've got some awesome resources in our show notes.
Yeah, if you want to dive deeper.
Eliade's book is a classic.
Shamanism.
Yeah.
Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy.
And there are some really cool YouTube channels, too.
That give you a glimpse into the modern shamanic world.
So remember, it's about the journey.
Not the destination.
Explore those different paths.
Ask questions.
Trust your intuition.
Yeah, go with your gut.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll discover a bit of the shaman within yourself.
Maybe we all have that potential
That capacity for connection, for healing.
for expanding our awareness.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.
See you next time.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been exploring the world of shamanism.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey.
It really has, touching on healing,
Psychology.
social structures.
Even entertainment.
Yeah, we saw that connection with magic.
Yeah, where does shamanism end and magic begin?
Exactly.
It's a blurry line sometimes.
It is.
So we started by defining shamanism.
Talking about those core principles.
Right.
Then we looked at all these different techniques.
Yeah, how'd they do it?
And how shamanism shows up in different cultures.
Because it's not one big thing.
Right, it's not a monolith.
There's so much diversity.
Yeah, and we even talked about that connection with magic, like psychic surgery.
Yeah, that one always gets people thinking.
And this human fascination with transcendence.
Yeah, we all want to go beyond the everyday.
So as we're wrapping up our deep dive here,
Okay.
let's shift gears a bit.
Okay, where are we going now?
What can we actually learn from shamanism?
That's the big question, right?
Because even if we're not going to,
Yeah.
put on the ceremonial garb and journey to the spirit world ourselves,
Yeah.
are there insights we can get from this ancient practice?
I think so, definitely.
Because it's not just about the rituals or those mystical experiences.
It's deeper than that.
Right. It's a way of looking at the world.
A way of being in the world.
It's a worldview.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think one of the most important takeaways from shamanism
All right.
is that it challenges how we think about reality.
Yeah, it shakes things up
It reminds us that there's more out there.
more than we can see and touch.
And Guido Fox talks about opening up those inner body chakras.
Yeah, he does.
To experience this deeper reality.
Right.
I'm not sure about the whole chakra thing.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of expanding our awareness
Yeah.
beyond just the material world.
Beyond the surface.
Right. The shamanic worldview embraces this idea of interconnectedness.
Yeah, that everything's connected.
These unseen forces that shape everything.
Makes you wonder if consciousness isn't just in our brains,
Right, yeah.
but part of something bigger.
Like we're all part of this big web of life.
Yeah, not just individuals off on our own.
So it's a shift from me to we.
From separation to connection.
And that leads us to another big takeaway.
Okay, what's that?
The power of altered states of consciousness.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Like meditation, mindfulness.
Sound healing.
All these modern things.
They're echoes of those old shamanic techniques.
Like we're rediscovering those ancient ways.
And realizing they're not just
woo-woo stuff.
not just fads.
But actually helpful tools.
Right, for well-being, self-exploration. Shamans understood that by changing your state of being, you can access deeper levels of healing, of creativity.
Insight.
They use drumming, chanting,
to get into those trance states.
and connect with the spirit world.
And now we use meditation.
Yoga, breath work.
Right, tapping into that same human ability.
To expand our awareness.
So those shamans were really onto something.
Yeah, maybe they were ahead of their time.
With their drumming circles and ceremony.
They knew that there are different ways of knowing.
Not just through our intellect.
Experience and intuition are just as important.
Feeling our way into truth.
Yeah, not just thinking about it.
And that brings us to another key insight from shamanism.
Okay, I'm listening.
The importance of connecting with nature.
Ah, yes, nature.
Shamans see nature as the source of wisdom.
Of power.
Of healing.
They're not separate from it.
They're a part of it.
An integral part.
And in our world today,
Yeah?
dominated by technology,
Living in concrete jungles.
that message is so important.
We need to hear it.
We've lost that connection with the natural world.
Those rhythms of the earth.
The wisdom of our ancestors.
Shamanism reminds us to get back to that.
To honor the earth.
All its inhabitants.
To find that balance and harmony.
In ourselves.
And with the world around us.
It's about recognizing that we're not just consumers.
Right.
We're active participants in this living ecosystem.
And that awareness can change things.
Our choices.
Our actions.
Our relationship with the planet.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into shamanism.
Yeah, what's the final word?
Should we all be going on ayahuasca retreats?
No, not necessarily.
Signing up for spirit animal workshops.
It's really a personal choice.
But I think the key is to approach shamanism with respect.
Respect is essential.
Discernment.
Yeah, don't just jump into anything.
And an open mind.
Be open to new possibilities.
It's not about appropriating those indigenous practices or looking for those quick fixes.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's about exploring human consciousness.
Connecting with nature's wisdom.
Honoring those ancient traditions.
The traditions that have carried this wisdom for so long.
And we've included some resources in our show notes.
Yeah, for those who want to go further.
Eliade's book is a classic.
Shamanism. Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy.
And there's some cool YouTube channels, too.
That give you a glimpse into that modern shamanic world.
So remember, it's about the journey.
Yeah, not the destination.
Explore those paths.
Ask questions.
Trust your intuition.
And who knows?
Maybe you'll find a little bit of the shaman within yourself.
That potential is there within all of us.
That capacity for connection, healing.
Expanding our awareness.
So until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep diving deep.
And remember, the journey is the reward.